Spitfire, whose goal is to use music to bring attention to the critical issues of youth violence that are facing in Chicago today. So what's going on, Henry?
All right. Thanks for having us. It's great to be here.
Thank you.
Not only are we using music to bring attention to youth violence, but we're also using music to end youth violence.
Awesome. Now, tell us a little bit about how did Project Spitfire come about, and even the name, like Spitfire.
Sure. So Spitfire kind of comes from the idea that like people are on the street, firing bullets all the time, and if you're actually in the booth and you're actually spitting, how can we combine those two concepts of violence and ending violence and music? And we came up with Project Spitfire. Shouts out to a guy named Cello for coming up with that name.
Oh, okay. Now, why music, though?
I feel like music has kind of like two aspects to it. One, it's an awesome tool to convey a message, to make people understand something, especially to tell stories. And I think music's really good at telling stories, and we need to hear more about what's going on in communities where violence is an issue. Number two, music plays a big role in communities where violence is going on. There's a lot of guys on the street and a lot of girls who want to be involved in the music industry. So how can we bring them into the music industry, teach them about it, and use that as a way to engage them in mentoring, other sort of supportive programming? It's going to help them bring them off the street, learn about ways to actually make some money, and get out of the mess.
Oh, okay. That's really cool. Now, what exactly does Project Spitfire entail? Like, I know you guys are putting out an album.
Sure. So this is phase one. We literally just started back in January. The whole idea right now is we're going to put out this album, and that album is going to feature about 10 artists from Chicago's most violent neighborhoods. And these are guys and girls who haven't been heard very much. They haven't gotten out there, and they... I can't speak for every artist personally, but the reason I started was to bring in people who have relevant experiences with youth violence. So they come from that background, they've been around it, and their music is supposed to tell some stories about that. The idea is that with the album, we get it out there, we get promotions for it, we start telling these stories, promoting it, and get our artists some attention.
Okay, and we actually have one of the artists that's featured on tonight's song that we're going to be premiering, Mr. J Smooth. What's up?
What's to it?
How are you? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm good. I'm Gucci.
Now tell us a little bit about this track that you're on.
Oh, it's a track that I helped produce. I wrote the song a couple years ago, and I just feel like it's from the heart. It's about my life. So
shouts out to Raul and Omega Watt Studios for production on that too.
Oh yes, sir. Super producer.
Well, here we go. Project Spitfire, Truestar Radio on Power 92.
Right now, literally, J Smooth's song is premiering on Power 92, one of the biggest hip-hop stations in the Midwest. And that's what's going on right now at this second.
So let's make this concise because we still have Under the Radar over here. And after this, let's go straight to DJ Amara. I'm gonna see if we have time for the wire. Okay. And if we do, it's right after DJ Amara. Okay.
Truestar Radio, Project Spitfire. Wow, it's so hard to find a song that's has a really good message and there's also something you can vibe to. So Henry, tell us more. Tell us how we can get more information on Project Spitfire, and if other teens want to get involved.
Sure. Best way to do that, check us out. Twitter is going to be @Project Spitfire, all one word. Facebook is facebook.com/Project Spitfire, or just our regular site at projectspitfire.org.
Definitely will. We'd like to thank you guys so much. Jay Smooth on the on the record right there. Thank you so much for coming through. We look forward to hearing more from Project Spitfire.